Good afternoon. Welcome to our interview with exceptional leaders in Homeland Security. To honor Women's History Month, Women in Homeland Security and Homeland Security Today have partnered to introduce you to some of the women who are leading, innovating, and breaking down all barriers in Homeland Security. My name is Kylie McGuire from UC San Diego. I currently work at HS Today as our project assistant, and I'm exploring the field of Homeland Security. When our team was charged with putting together our features for Women's History Month, we decided that asking some of our emerging leaders to conduct the interviews was a way to introduce them to established leaders and provide exceptional mentoring all at the same time. With that, I'm extremely proud to continue the series with Ms. Renee Forney. Ms. Forney is Microsoft's Senior Director, Azure Hardware Systems and Infrastructure Security, where she was responsible for governance and risk, supply chain risk management, customer authentication, PCI and mergers, and acquisition cyber due diligence. Mrs. Forney previously served as Deputy Chief Information Officer for Cybersecurity and Enterprise Operations, where she was responsible for managing the Department of Energy's Enterprise Cybersecurity Program and IT infrastructure, advising departmental senior officials on integrating cybersecurity, risk management, and implementing enterprise information resources management across the DOE. Welcome, Ms. Forney. Okay, so to get started, talk to us a bit about your position as the Microsoft Senior Director, Azure Hardware Systems and Infrastructure Security. Is that the job you imagined when you were young?
Okay, great. First, let me just first thank you. Thank you all for having me today. I really appreciate the opportunity to share. The position at Microsoft as a Senior Director of Azure Hardware Security is an amazing position. There we have the responsibility to make sure that the supply chain, the hardware supply chain going into the data centers is secure. We look across the entire ecosystem, and it's really large, right? In order to manage that entire data center platform. Is that the job that I would have imagined for myself? Well, when I first started out, there weren't really any cloud services. So that position didn't even exist at that time.
Mhm.
But I did imagine myself doing something in tech where I had a leadership position and where I had the ability to affect change and to make progress. And so when I think about it like that, yes, it is. It is what I imagined when I was young.
Mhm. That's amazing. So getting into your accomplishments, what were some of your greatest accomplishments?
Wow. I've done a lot of things over the years. And one of the things that sticks out to me is balance, being
Mhm.
able to learn how to balance, right? Um, Being a wife, a mother, a daughter, and working full time and getting my master's all at the same time back in early 2000s was something that I've always kept in my mind. So as I've gone further in my career and I thought that the balance was getting tougher, I would think back to those times when I had little babies and I was trying to manage it all and realize that, okay, you can do this. You were able to balance that. Surely you can balance this, right?
Mhm.
So learning to balance has really been one of the accomplishments that I think is important.
Mhm. Yeah, that sounds so tough, and that's very impressive. And I'm sure it was very challenging. And so, speaking of, what were some of your greatest challenges?
Balance is a double-edged sword
Mhm.
because I'm not always successful. So at sometimes when it is the greatest accomplishment, I also fail at it.
Mhm.
Right? Sometimes. And sometimes you tip one way, you tip a little bit more to work or you tip a little bit more to family. So that has been one of the greatest challenges. I get real successful at it sometimes in some instances. But I would be lying if I didn't say, yep, it is a challenge at
Mhm.
some point, right? And realizing that it is a challenge and facing it head on is an important step in trying to figure out how to course correct it and get through it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know you mentioned that you were a mother and a wife. So, are there any specific challenges that you faced because you were a woman, and how did you overcome these?
Well, I think you eventually get used to being the only woman in the room.
Hmm.
You learn to become confident, right?
Hmm.
Have self-confidence in your domain knowledge and being able to clearly articulate that
Hmm.
in meetings and in interactions with those who don't look like you.
Hmm.
Um, and then being able to execute, right? To be able to deliver and to get the job done in spite of. And that's in spite of any challenges that you may have, in spite of anything that others may think of you or think that you can't accomplish because you are a woman or you don't look like them. And you move beyond that, right? You move beyond it. You study long and hard and make sure that you are well versed in your area, and then just move forward and execute.
Hmm. Amazing. Yeah. What qualities do you see in yourself that really helped you overcome particularly stressful or difficult times? I know you mentioned balance and just being self-confident, but can you think of any other qualities?
I like peace.
Mm.
I love peace. And so I try to always operate in that mode. I've
Mhm.
had positions where I've had to be the trusted broker or the mediator in some very challenging positions.
Mhm.
And I've always walked into chaos or those challenging types of positions with peace at the forefront, right? With
Mhm.
trying to figure out, how do I make this a win-win for all parties involved? How do I help the people in the room see the benefit in this for all parties that are here? Keeping my mind focused on trying to do the right thing and making sure that we keep some level of peace and civility, right?
Mhm.
Um, and also realizing that you're dealing with human beings.
Mhm.
And so at the end of the day, we're all human beings and we all bring different things to the table. We all bring different qualities to the table, different value adds. And so just keeping that in the forefront of my mind has
Mhm.
always helped me through challenging situations.
Yeah, keeping yourself centered, just
Yes,
working through problems.
absolutely, 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 absolutely. Yep.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah, well, thank you. So who are your role models?
Oh, well, I will have to say, um, my mom and my dad, going into the world of work and going into, especially at a male dominated field, especially when I first started, um, watching my mom navigate and operate throughout her life and how she was always um, very strong in stature, with the way she carried herself, very respectful, um, but at the same time graceful. So
Mhm.
I try to maintain that as I go throughout my career. Um, and then of course the other role models, the women who have blazed trails for us in the technology fields, the Katherine Johnsons of the world, who without them there would be no Renee Forney, right? Without them blazing a trail, there would be no opportunity for me to even have the roles that I've had throughout my career.
Yeah, well, I can definitely say that you are also blazing your own trail for women in technology. So what gave you the most personal satisfaction in your job, or what kept you at it?
Oh, I love to be able to deliver. I love
Mhm,
to see a problem and work really hard at trying to solve it and be able to deliver the solution, right?
mhm.
That's one aspect of it. But the other aspect is, remember when I said it all boils down to the human being?
Yeah.
I love that human interaction. I love being able to work with people, help them grow in their careers, being able to provide them anything that can support them, any data point that can give them a way to deal with situations, provide them a point of clarity. Nothing makes me happier than to see someone that I've worked with, that I've had the opportunity to mentor or to sow into, to go on and to succeed.
Mhm. Yeah, well, this interview is in a way its own mentoring for me, me as well as some of my other colleagues. We just entered our 20s. So what do you know now that you wish you knew when you were 21?
Oh, I would say don't sweat the small stuff and
Mhm,
enjoy life,
mhm,
because sometimes you get caught up on trying to climb that ladder, right? And you can lose sight of some of the things that really, really matter in life. And don't lose yourself in the midst of it. Make sure that you're always aware of what's right there in front of you while you're still trying to climb and to move forward, right?
mhm.
So there may be times in my life that I had spent climbing, trying to climb, trying to move forward, not realizing or not even valuing the perfect spot that I was in at that time, right?
Yeah.
So take solace in that. Just um, don't be so focused on moving forward that you forget to enjoy the journey.
Yeah, that's very similar to what my parents tell me all the time. They say, "Don't treat any part of your life as a transitionary period. Like,
Mhm.
this is the present, and you should be grateful for it.
Yes,
And when you focus on what you love doing in the present moment, it will lead you to what you are supposed to do, no matter what."
absolutely,
Mhm.
absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
You're so right.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing that. What is your advice for me or others like me not quite sure of which career path to take?
Well, I'm all about the cyber workforce, so of course I would say
Yes.
tech. But I think of the tech or cyber field like a circle, and there's plenty of room on the circle for everyone, right? And there are gaps in the workforce, right?
Mhm,
That I don't think a lot of people think about. They think about if you're going into cyber or tech, you have to be a hardcore techie and you
mhm,
have to code, right? But we need all types of skills, right?
mhm.
We need attorneys, right? We need cyber and technical attorneys who can understand, especially given the types of cyber crime that we have. We need cyber folks in finance, right? So if you're at a major corporation and you're a finance major, understanding how to deal with large contracts and things like that in the technological space, all of those are needed, right? So it's not just the coder. There are all types of positions that you can have that go to support the cyber workforce.
Awesome. Thank you.
Mhm.
So those are all of the questions that I have for you. Thank you for giving back and for taking time to mentor myself and all of the others who will listen to this interview.
Great. Thank you so much, Kylie. And you did a wonderful job.
Thank you. I hope you have a great rest of your day.
You as well.
Thank you.